This presentation is entitled Revealing Writers-Readers Interactions in Academic Genre, the Case of Computer Sciences Abstracts. My name is Lisa Rumenta Simanjuntak, and on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to present the paper at the 3rd INCOMSAT conference on the 22nd of December 2020. The background of this study was the fact that abstracts have been identified as an important genre in academic writing. Good abstracts would be able to attract readers' attention. Therefore, the study investigated the language used in abstracts to interact with the readers. Results showed the use of interactive and interactional meta-discourse in computer science research article abstracts, and that there were variations of the use of these markers. Research papers' quality and research value could be implied through the abstracts. Abstracts are more strategic in terms of reaching prospective readers compared to full research papers. As standalone texts, abstracts embody complete information and often represent the styles of the authors. By using interactional meta-discourse, authors acknowledge their readers and therefore made their writing more persuasive to the readers. This present study investigates the writers-readers interaction in research paper abstracts in order to reveal the conventions in computer science discipline. The investigation is conducted by finding answers to these questions. The first question was what interactional meta-discourse markers are used in computer science research abstracts, and the second question, what varieties could be identified in the use of interactional meta-discourse markers. Previous studies in meta-discourse and academic rhetoric showed that academic writing used formal and notably structured rhetoric, and in research abstracts in specific had been identified to be concise yet comprehensive in manner. Computer science was considered as relatively new discipline but important one. Previous studies revealed the conventions on the use of linguistic devices called meta-discourse to persuade readers. The research methods for this present study used the corpus from 970 research article abstracts from 6 reputable journals in computer science from the years of 2016 to 2018, and the research article abstracts were collected randomly. The research tool used for this present study was nConct, and it was used to generate data for word frequency collocations and concordance plot. Concordance plot presented the layout of the information in terms of sentences and the place of certain marker in the sentences or paragraph. nConct, the latest version, which was 3.5.9 in 2019, was used in this present study. nConct as a tool for research was a freeware developed by Professor Lawrence Anthony from University of Waseda, Japan. This freeware enabled the present study to collect and identify the data needed for answering the questions. Here are the steps in conducting the research. The first one was to collect data by identifying rhetorical moves in computer science abstracts. The second step or stage was identifying interactional meta-discourse within the context of rhetorical moves. That is, by situating the use of the marker, whether it was used in introduction section, math section, purpose section, product or result section, as well as whether the marker was used in conclusion section. The third step was by identifying the conventions in computer science rhetoric. That was done by locating, identifying, categorizing the patterns of the recurrent use of the markers. And last step or stage was by identifying the variations in the rhetoric. The results and discussion of this present study started with presenting the use of interactional method discourse in computer science research abstract. The table showed 10 mostly used hedges in computer science research abstracts. Part of the interactional method discourse markers that were commonly identified were the use of hedges and boosters. Hedges were commentaries used by authors to tone down the certainty, the claim of the argument, whereas boosters, the opposite of hedges, often used to elevate or magnify the certainty or the claim. In this table, the use of each marker was shown in terms of frequency of use, and the most frequently used marker was May, and it was used 179 times throughout the corpus, whereas the least used marker was estimated, the word or marker estimated, that was used 37 times throughout the corpus. This results showed that the word may was used most frequently in the corpus, and it was used by more than 600 abstracts from 970 abstracts. This marker may was a hedge marker and was used as epistemic modality. Epistemic modality used to propose arguments by resorting to a more neutral position. So the modality or the marker, it was a hedging marker because it resorted to more objective perspective rather than opinionated strength or claim. In the use of the interactional method discourse, the concordance plot showed the position in which the marker was used in the abstracts. The pointers showed the various positions the marker was identified, and the marker pointed to the left showed that the marker was used at the beginning of the abstracts, and moving towards the right hand side of the plot, it means that the marker was used throughout the or to the direction of the end of the abstract. In this result, it was presented that the use of may was used in the corpus in various positions in abstracts. Through the concordance plot, it could be identified that the epistemic modality may appear to be used at the beginning, middle, and also at the closing sections in abstracts. This indicated that writers use epistemic modality throughout the end of the abstracts. And the implication of this result, or the finding of this result, was that interaction between readers and authors was made by using epistemic modality throughout the abstract. An example of the use of the marker may can be seen in the following. In this sentence, the marker was used in the fifth sentence, and it was located to be used in the conclusion section of the abstract. The epistemic modality may tone down the certainty for the proposition imposed by the author by the use of may indicate a prospective direction rather than could indicate or should indicate or just indicate. the author chose to use the marker may. The use of epistemic modality may created an implication in proposing the network infrastructures that became the finding or the presented results of the research or investigation. From this example, it could also be seen that the use of hedging marker helped author to safely propose an idea and made a tentative conclusion, avoiding a contradiction or strong sentiment. And therefore, this finding was in line with the previous studies and in showing that the use of hedges was likely to be more preferred by science in the quality of objective presentations rather than subjective opinionated statements. In terms of variations in the use of interactional method discourse, the present study identified or found a sample of use that was rather different from what it was found before. In this particular example, the sentence was taken from the abstract entitled FP Hadoop Efficient Processing of Skewed Map Reduce Jobs as part of Information Systems Journal. It could be seen from the excerpt that the authors discussed the current condition of data fast production. In doing so, in trying to persuade the readers in the ideas of the more effective and efficient system, the authors engage the readers with the use of inclusive we. So here, the authors engage in a conversation with the readers by saying you and me, we, together, we are witnessing. So at this very beginning, in the introduction section, the authors try to persuade the readers by including the readers in the discussion, taking the readers to the perspective or the position of the authors rather than to the opposite position of the authors. By using the inclusive we, the authors engage their readers in the conversation. The example also used variation because as different from the hedges used as presenting more objectivity, the use of inclusive we presented to be more subjective or engaging. So in conclusion, the present study showed the use of interactional method discourse to reveal interactions between writers and readers in academic writing. And these interactions consistently was displayed by authors in the discipline of computer science, and it indicated social constructions that happened in academic genre, especially in a specific discipline. This present study also implied the use of corpus or real use collections of real text for writing pedagogy, in that models or examples of real use of language were more important and needed by the learners. And in the future, research could also be done by covering other disciplines to compare conventions in research abstracts, whether or not there are similarities or differences across disciplines. For your attention, this research was made possible because of the grant provided by Bina Nusantara University and list of references.